And I have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. I apologize. We had a little problem with the clock and with the equipment, and our breaks didn't come in like they should have. So I apologize to my affiliates out there. I want to move on in this last segment. And again, if you want to call, these are the topics. We're talking about the empowerment of women and the lying that's going on in the Senate right now with in regards to Kavanaugh. Of course, they're going to have this hearing tomorrow, and it's in question whether this woman will really show up. And then the earmarks coming back. Congress playing us for the fools that we are. But we're not hearing that in any of the news. I didn't hear, I don't listen to mainstream media too much. I didn't hear it on Fox. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, I didn't hear any of them talking about it. And Tucker usually brings out stuff that nobody else is talking about. I will admit, though, I got home late yesterday, so I was kind of listening off and on. I did hear snippets, but I don't think it was enough of the speech that the president had before the United Nations. Like many of you listening, I'm not a United Nations fan. There's some defunding I think needs to be done right there. 7 top takeaways from Trump's UN speech for friends and foes alike. This is coming from the Daily Signal. Fred Lucas wrote this article. He said, President Donald Trump defended the sovereignty of America and every other country before the 73rd United Nations General Assembly yesterday on Tuesday in his second address to the world body. Now, what little I saw of it, he did a fantastic job. Lou Dobbs said it was the best speech he'd ever given, but he says that every time he gives a speech. He defended sovereignty, which is a dirty word in politics these days, especially to the Democrats or the socialists. You don't hear the Republicans talk about it much either. He went on with his great American, Make America Great Again campaign slogan as he addressed this assembly. These are the 7 takeaways. Number 1, more than almost any administration. Yes, he was patting himself on the back, and duly so. He says, today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country, he said. And after he said this, or as he said this, laughter from the audience, from those world leaders and diplomats in the audience. And the president gives this little grin and he says, I didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay. Don't you love it when he does that? I just love it when he does that. He was undaunted, it says in this article. He was undaunted, and he went on. The United States is stronger, safer, and a richer country than it was when I assumed office. America's economy is booming like never before. And then on the second point, Iran's leaders sow chaos, death, and destruction. He went after Iran. He said, every solution to the humanitarian crisis in Syria must also include a strategy to address the brutal regime that has fueled and financed it, the corrupt dictatorship in Iran. Iran's leaders sow chaos, death, and destruction. They do not respect their neighbors or borders or sovereign rights of nations. Sovereign rights of nations he's talking about. Instead, Iran leaders plunder the nation's sources to enrich themselves and to spread mayhem. Hey, we've seen him on commercials across the Middle East and far beyond. Now, he also said with this word sovereign to all of these world leaders that that's what they should be doing in their countries, making their countries the best it can be. Why can't we all do that? That's my words, not his. But there he goes on the number 3rd point. Make their countries great too. Why can't they? Why can't we all get along? As my brother was making fun the other day. Why can't we just all get along? You know, world peace if you're on the beauty contest. I found that amazing when he went on one of his first world tours, that he said this to people. You need to put your country first, and I'm going to put my country first. And when we do this, we can come together. There's no reason we can't come together. And then, of course, he's talking about Iran ignoring the borders. Well, what do we've got going on here in this nation? North Korea and the difference of a year. What a difference a year has made. The United States has great strength and patience. But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and from his regime. This is what he said a year ago. But now, it's a different situation. We have highly productive conversations and meetings, and we agreed that it was in both countries' interest, again, putting both countries first, to pursue the denuclearization of North Korea Peninsula, of the Korean Peninsula. Since that meeting, we have already seen a number of encouraging measures that few could have imagined only a short time ago. The missiles and the rockets are no longer flying in every direction. Nuclear testing has stopped. Some military facilities are already dismantled. This is our president talking. Mainstream media talks about, what's her name? Stormy Daniels. They can't forget a little snippet of something he said on the campaign trail. They're going after Kavanaugh because he said he was a virgin. And Jimmy Kimmel suggests that we cut off part of his anatomy. Well, it's too bad. Kimmel doesn't have that anatomy. Moving on. Getting tough on Venezuela. He talks about that. Russia. He goes after Russia in the Middle East and the energy security. He goes after tough talk with trade. He goes after all of them. Talks tough, but suggests that we all try to improve our own nations. Isn't that what it's all about? Is improving? Isn't that what it's about? To bring peace? Isn't that what true empowerment is? To do better? Not to point fingers? I swear, empowerment of women is weakening this nation. They've taken the family away, and these women, these nasty women, who couldn't tell the truth if it slapped them in the face. Would you stand up, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, getting harassed in a restaurant? Would you be empowered to stand for what's right and against what is wrong? Would you be empowered to bring America home?